scurvy was absolutely devastating. It's been estimated that between the late 1400s and early 1800s, 2 million sailors perished as a result of this disease.
That's harder than I expected. Medical historian Dr. John Waller has studied the links between scurvy and diet.
So this is a typical daily ration for a sailor in the Royal Navy in the 18th century. About a pound of very hard ship's biscuit. Then they would get something like half a pint of dried peas. Then salted meat. And it would be washed down with something like a gallon of beer a day.
But there was something missing from their diet.
Yeah, there's something very, very significant missing. And that, of course, is vitamin C.
The thought that certain foods might cure scurvy wasn't a new one. It was an old idea that had been discovered and forgotten many times.
Every so often, somebody would try citrus fruits. The sailors would make what appeared to be a miraculous recovery. But it never became standard practice.
So how did they eventually figure out how to cure scurvy?
It happened very gradually, but there were a few really critical moments. One of them took place in 1747, when a Scottish-born ship surgeon ran what is the first controlled clinical trial in human history.
Dr. James Lind had seen the horrors of scurvy firsthand. Usually, the ship's surgeon would try a range of supposed remedies and hope for the best. But Lind came up with a novel idea. He took 12 men with scurvy and split them into pairs. Each pair was given ship's rations plus one of the supposed cures of the time. Cider, vinegar, seawater, something called elixir of vitriol made from sulfuric acid, a concoction of garlic and mustard, or oranges and lemons.
The two sailors who had been receiving the citrus fruits had made a really remarkable recovery. Now, the two who had received cider were somewhat improved. The rest, they had continued to deteriorate, and they were fast on the way to dying. So this experiment had allowed him to arrive at a really clear conclusion, that fresh fruits and vegetables really can be used to cure scurvy.
How significant would you consider Lind's experiment?
There's no question that this single discovery saves millions of lives. But there's a broader and every bit as enduring an effect of Lind's work, and that is the way in which the controlled clinical trial eventually becomes orthodoxy in medicine. It's a species-altering development. Humans had unlocked the way to identify what cures will work.
When Lind goes to publish his findings a few years later, he buries the information in a few paragraphs 200 pages into his 400-page book. It's as though not even Lind realizes the significance of his own discovery. And it may have been forgotten yet again, if not for the work of a young Dr. Gilbert Blaine, who manages to convince the British Navy to supply lemon juice to its sailors. The year is 1795. That's 1 year after Lind's death and 48 years after his historic experiment. With lemons and later limes as their secret weapon, the British Navy emerged as the strongest on the globe. The supply of fruit shaped the destiny of nations, allowing us to venture out across the seas, to live and to thrive, fueled by the right nutrition.